Retail Management, Masters of Commerce, 4th semester, Mangalore University, Session 24. Retail Marketing. In this session, you are going to learn about the considerations in setting retail prices. Learning objective. To understand the insights of consideration in setting retail prices. Session outcome. To enlighten the students on setting the retail prices. Considerations in setting retail prices. 4 factors retailers consider in setting retail prices are the price sensitivity of consumers, the cost of the merchandise, competition, and legal constraints. Legal constraints are discussed later at the end of this chapter. The additional considerations occur when setting retail prices for services and are discussed in this session. The first is the customer price sensitivity and cost. Generally, as the price of a product increases, the sales of the product will decrease because fewer and fewer customers feel the product is a good value. The price sensitivity of customers determines how many units will be sold at different price levels. If customers in the target market are very price sensitive, sales will decrease significantly when price increases. If customers are not very price sensitive, sales will not decrease significantly if the prices are increased. One approach that can be used to measure the price sensitivity of customers is a price experiment. So suppose take for the example, a restaurant chain wants to determine the best price for a new item, a riblet basket. It selects the restaurants in the chain with very similar trading areas and sets prices at different levels in each of the restaurants for a week. Assume that the variable of the riblets is rupees 5 per plate and the fixed cost of operating and restaurant for a week, the cost of for rent, labor and energy is rupees 8,000. So the results of this experiment are shown in the table. So here notice that here in this table you can see that as the price increases, the fixed cost remains the same. Sales and variable cost both decrease, but the sales decrease at a faster rate than the variable cost. So the highest profit level occurs at rupees 7, where it is around rupees 2,700. If the restaurant considers only customers' price sensitivity and cost in setting prices, it would set the price for the riblet basket with these demand characteristics at rupees 7 to maximize the profits. So here there are different different theaters. They have price the product at rupees 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8 and 8.5. At the same time, in the third column, they have shown with regard to the quantity sold. So, how many units of riblet basket have been sold in different theaters at different prices. The revenue, which is derived out of price into quantity sold, where the results are there. Cost per ticket is treated as a variable cost. So, for the units, how much we have sold into rupees 5. So, the results are there in the column 5. Then regarding the fixed cost, it is rupees 8,000, which is constant through any other store. The profit, how you are going to derive the profit, that is revenue minus cost. Cost includes both fixed cost as well as the variable cost. So as you can see here, the profits has decreased from 1,500 and increased at 1,600. Later on decreased, and it is negative at minus 577 when the price is 8.5. So here, with regard to the variable cost, you can see that the variable cost is also decreasing at a faster rate. But at the same time, here the sales is also decreasing more than the variable cost also. So these are the things which you have to notice. But so at what price the retailer has to fix now? Where the profit maximize, where he is going to have his profit maximization. So at price 7, when he charges price 7, rupees 7, that time he is going to earn a profit of rupees 2,700, which is shown here on the table. To graphically represent it, so as and when the prices of the product increased from 6 to 6.57. So what happened to the quantity sold? It goes on decreasing. It went on decreasing. So regarding the profit here, at 6 rupees the profit was very less. At 6.5 little bit more, but when it was charged at rupees 7, the profits were more than 2500. Later on it went on decreasing as the price went on increasing. So a retailer can fix the price at rupees 7 where his quantity sold is also almost high, and where he is going to earn more profits at this level. Next is the competition. Consumers have lots of choices for goods and services, and they typically search for the best value. So the retailers therefore need to consider the competitors' prices when setting their own. The previous discussion about setting the price on the basis of customer price sensitivity, it ignores the effects of the competitor's price. For example, assume the restaurant chain that conducted the experiment. Suppose if it was rupees 7.5 was the price for the riblet basket, and following the results of the experiment, the price dropped to rupees 7 to increase the sales and the profits. So if the increased sale occurred, other restaurant chain would see a decline in their sales and react by dropping their prices to rupees 7, and the experimenting restaurant chain might not realize the sales and profit increase it anticipated. So the table examines the impact of intense price competition in the countries. So the retailers can price above, below, or at parity with the competition. The chosen pricing policy must be consistent with the retailer's overall strategy and its relative market position. So consider, for instance, Walmart, Tiffany and Company. Walmart's overall strategy is to be with the low-cost retailer for the merchandise it sells. It tries to price the product it sells below its competition. Tiffany, in contrast, offers significant benefits to its customers beyond just the merchandise. Its brand name and customer service assure customers that they will be satisfied with the jewelry they purchase. Due to the unique nature of its offering, Tiffany is able to set its prices higher than those of competitors. So, collecting and using the competitive price data. So, most retailers routinely collect price data about their competitors to see if they need to adjust their prices to remain competitive. Competitive price data are typically collected using the store personnel by pricing data also are available from the business service providers. And now we shall discuss about a hypothetical example of price comparison data. So, which is shown on the screen now. In this example, there is the CVS, the National Drugstore chain, and it sets in prices generally above the Winn-Dixie and the Walmart. However, pricing for shampoo, toothpaste, shaving gel is very competitive. Similarly, Winn-Dixie is a grocery chain is moderately priced with the low prices on selected items like baby food. Walmart is generally priced below its competitors. So you can see here that CVS, Winn-Dixie and Walmart, for different products, the rates of CVS, Winn-Dixie and Walmart chains. So overall here, overall we can see that Walmart has a 85% decrease in the prices of the products, or Winn-Dixie has 91%, whereas CVS there is 100%. CVS doesn't sell the goods at a very lesser price or at a discounted price. So this is a competitive price index for all the three. So the product may be same, but they are being offered in the stores at a different price. Why? Because of the competition. Next, pricing services. So the additional issues that needed to be considered when pricing the services are the need to match the supply and demand, and next is the difficulties customers have in determining the service quality, or which we can tell is determining the service quality. So let us now discuss about matching the demand and supply. Services are intangible and thus it cannot be inventorized. So when retailers are selling the products, if the products don't sell one day, they can be stored and sold the next day. However, when a plane departs with empty seats or a play is performed without a full house, the potential revenue from the unused capacity is lost forever. In addition, most of the services have limited capacity. For example, restaurants are limited in the number of customers that can be seated. So, due to capacity constraints, services retailers might encounter situations in which they cannot realize as many sales as they could make. To maximize sales and profits, many service retailers engage in yield management. So, yield management is the practice of adjusting the prices up or down in response to demand to control the sales generated. So, airlines are the masters at yield management. So, using the sophisticated computer programs, they monitor the reservations and ticket sales for each flight and adjust the prices according to capacity utilization. Prices are lowered on flights when sales are below the forecast and there is significant excess capacity. As ticket sales approach the capacity, prices are increased. So, other services retailers use less sophisticated approaches to match the supply and demand. For example, more people want to go to a restaurant for dinner or see a movie at 7 pm than at 5 pm. The restaurants or movie theaters thus might not be able to satisfy the demand for their services at 7 pm but have excess capacity at 5 pm. Therefore, the restaurants and movie theaters often price their services lower to customers who use them at 5 pm rather than 7 pm in an effort to shift the demand from 7 pm to 5 pm. The theaters use a variety of strategies to try to ensure that the seats are sold and that they are sold at prices equivalent to what customers are willing to pay. The targeted direct mail coupons are often used when a play opens, and 2 for 1 tickets are introduced about halfway through the run. In some cities, the theaters partner with half-price ticket brokers which sell unsold tickets for 50% of the ticket price but only for performance that same day. Next is determining the service quality. So, due to the intangibility of services, it is often difficult for the customer to access the service quality, especially when other information is not available. Thus, if the consumers are unfamiliar with the service or service provider, they may use price to make quality judgments. For example, most consumers have limited information about lawyers and the quality services offered on the fees they charge. For example, most customers have limited information about the lawyers and the quality of legal advice they offer. So, they may therefore base their assessment of the quality of legal services offered on the fees they charge. They may also use other non-diagnostic cues to access quality, such as the size and decor of the lawyer's office. Another factor that increases the dependence on price as a quality indicator is the risk associated with the service purchase. In high-risk situations, many of which involve credence services such as medical treatment or legal consulting, the customer will look to price as a surrogate for quality. Because customers depend on price as a cue for quality, and because price creates expectations of quality, service prices must be determined carefully. In addition to being chosen to manage capacity, prices must be set to convey the appropriate quality signal. Pricing too low can lead to inaccurate inferences about the quality of the service. Pricing too high can set expectations that may be difficult to match in service delivery.